Good afternoon, everybody. This is a proper improv vid. I only decided to do this 5 minutes ago. So, what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about what it's like to live with the aftermath of abuse and what it's like to be groomed. Grooming. Grooming is hard to explain. Hi, Rach. John, grooming is hard to explain because you don't know you're in it till you're in it. And when you're in it, you're in that deep, you can't get out. It is an awful place to be. And, you know, I feel a bit nervous, to be honest. Woohoo! Because I talked about this for years and years. Not on video, anyway. It's Dave, Sharon. So, grooming. Start off, compliments, gifts, trips, wheedle the way in, and before you know it, you're in that deep you cannot get out. Awful it is, absolutely awful. But they make you so, hiya Joan, Jacket, they make you so you don't realise that you think that nobody's going to believe you. You can't get out. You're stuck. And you think you can't tell anybody because usually they say, and I have had this said to me, they won't believe you. So you keep it in. And what do we always say about talking? Keeping it in. Hiya Ben. Keeping it in. Nick. Keeping it in destroys you, and it does. All I wanted to do when I was a kid, from seeing, and it was Falklands War on telly in 1982, from that day forward at 7-year-old, I wanted to be a soldier. And that's what led me to go to Sea Cadets. And I joined Sea Cadets because I wanted to be a Marine. And I trained, and the closest Marine cadets were Leeds. James, Julia, the closest Marines were Leeds, and of course, them days, transport issues, it had taken me all day and all night to get back in the early 90s. So, because the Marines are part of Royal Navy, Terham, on sea, on land, I joined the Sea Cadets, because that was the closest thing to it. It just turned out that the president of the Sea Cadets turned out to be a predatory paedophile. And hey up man, the little lad's godfather. And got tough is this. And he took a few of us under his wing and proceeded to what we now realise is grooming. And it's about my hands. Turned out to be grooming. And it just went on and on and on, and what happened. And I ended up, Stu, jump, and I ended up leaving. I got involved with drink and drugs. I started working for a firm, and it turned out that the owner of that firm was a paedophile as well, and I ended up getting abused by him as well. And it was a fun time. I won't mention his name because the CPS never did him. No. And it still rattles me. But it is what it is. I've been told he's dead now. So it's I don't condone violence, but I do wish it were me what put in there. But it is what it is. So due to that, I ended up with drink issues, drug issues. I never touched heroin. I didn't touch it. Glad I didn't, because I know John's story, and brave lad to work through it and get off it. it's I've seen it destroy my friends, and I lost quite a few of my sea cadet friends. It was only a small unit, and there were 3 of us got abused from there. I'm just feel this emotion going up now. It's weird. Hey Matt, cheers Stu, cheers Jack, and yeah, ended up getting involved with a lot of what you call risk-taking behaviour. I tried joining Marines, they turned me down. I were a mess. It were absolutely pointless me even going through to Leeds. I love you too, Squiz. It was just pointless me going. There wasn't a cat in hell's chance I was going to get through. I tried again for army a few years later, but due to my drug issues and drink issues, they turned me down as well. And I tried for paras a couple of years later, they turned me down. I was just a complete and utter mess. The people who've known me for a long time, I won't mention names, I never do, but they'll agree. I was an absolute mess. Fighting. I used to do a lot of car surfing. I fell off on my 17th birthday, ended up in Airedale because I fell off a car bonnet. Did my knee in. I used to punch walls, punch windows. I was a mess, and I was like that for years. But then one day I met a lass who I told her what had happened, and she told me to go to police. So I did, and from there I went through a lot of ups and downs. One minute I'd be alright, next minute I kept getting signed off work because I just couldn't cope. I wasn't sleeping. Started hitting the beer again, and I ended up going to court. He fought it right to the bitter end. Would not admit anything. And of course the second one never even got there. CPS said nah, sorry. But he had an illness. He had Parkinson's. And due to that, and me against him, they turned it down and said it wasn't in the public's best interest. But I know he'd done it to others. And I know that because I was once working in Keighley Town Centre and he drove past me with a young lad in the car. And that young lad had the same look looking out of that window as what I used to have looking out of his car window. So I just wanted his name in paper just that once because I know quite a few come forward. But as it happens, didn't. And I'm hoping that maybe one day people will come forward and tell their story about him, because I left my story on file. So as soon as his name's mentioned, yeah. So it's hard as this. Didn't realise I could bring people on camera. Friends will be able to watch this later in the selected audience. See if I can add John, see if it'll work. Sometimes I need coaxing, you see. There's stuff I want to get out, but I struggle to get it out. Where if I'm interviewed, I can talk about it. Hey, it's worked, hasn't it?
It has worked, yeah. I've got my mouth full of food. How's that worked?
It just said add people to video. So I just scrolled back through till I saw your name and it said John Bailey, add to video.
Well, here we are.
Yeah, I've just said that to get it out, I sometimes need coaxing because there's stuff I want to say, but I can't get it out.
You do, and that's not a reflection, that's not a sign of weakness, Jim. It's we overthink. The pair of us, we overthink within an inch of us lives. The only difference between you and me is I will just go ahead and just do something. I'm quite impulsive because I know what overthinking does to me. I know where it takes me. You've got a better control over the drink and the drugs aspect than I ever could have, so I can no longer allow myself to overthink like that. So what you've just done there is brilliant, mate. You've just gone and done that. I didn't even know you were doing it till 5 minutes before you went online, and it's
I decided when I was in the shower.
Yeah, and it's very hard because I was willing you, and I'm on. You know how honest I am. I'm willing you to say that guy's name. I know why you can't, but it's. Do you know what I mean? People get away with so much, and I've got to be. We're on over 18s, aren't we?
Yeah.
I really hate these bastards.
Want to say his name. I want to say his name to get it out there, but it was never taken to court. It was arrested. It was interviewed many times, but it was never taken to court. So, would it open a can of worms if I mentioned his name? I know you've mentioned it by accident on a past video.
Yeah, I didn't even mean to do that. It's just, I don't know, Jim. It's just really, these people get away with it for so long, and the effects that they have are lifelong, aren't they? My guy, he's inside serving 61 years. The sickening part is he's up for parole in just 5 years. How do you go from getting 61 years to having what is effectively what will effectively be a 9-year chance at parole? That's a sixth. So I don't understand that. Now, I've gone one step further and I've insisted I wanted to be part of the parole hearing thing, because I've got another letter to write him when I write him. So I'm saving it up for now times, because I know that I can do that. But with your guy, it disgusted me that he just couldn't accept guilt. That's where you and I differ, because he found guilty and he should have accepted guilt. To be honest, I'm surprised Longbottom accepted guilt, if I'm being perfectly fair.
Yeah.
But he did. And
but he was already in prison, wasn't he?
Yeah. Don't know why. It cost me my marriage. It cost me pretty much nearly everything. But it had to be done.
Same with me, mate. It cost me my marriage. It cost me every partnership I've ever had.
Same here. Absolutely. That's something that, without a doubt, we've
intimacy issues.
Yep, 100%.
Stress, anxiety.
Yeah.
You struggle to go places. Well, I do anyway, because I need to know where all the exits are at all times. I'm not as bad as I used to be, but it spoilt me going to my mates' weddings, nights out, clubs around the country, because I'd be on high alert. Because I'd be on high alert, once the alcohol took effect, I'd start getting angry.
Yeah. Same here. I had that for years. I used to go sit in places, looking back on it now, I would do the same. I would sit literally in a place where the nearest fire exit was. So if I saw anybody, I could just go out of there and get away. Yeah. And half the time I'd scope out where that exit was. So you'd scope out, if I knew I were going to a different pub, I'd probably go a couple of days before, look where the fire exits are and see which way I could get out and away in case it came to it. Strange that, isn't it? That's really
that's the PTSD aspect, isn't it?
Yeah. I used to do a bit of drinking up at the Guide pub, and I used to know that he used to drive over that way sometimes, and I used to have my route clocked home walking through fields, all the way down to Hainworth Woods, and that was where it'd go. And then I'd walk on main roads where I knew cameras were, so if anything happened, at least I'd be seen and be grabbed. That's how you had to do it.
What about risk-taking behaviour? I used to get drunk and walk in the middle of roads, open a car would hit me.
Yeah, I used to. I have been known to lay down in the middle of roads in front of night riders. Yep.
I can't see how Hasselhoff will sort you out, though.
I want to give you one finger on there, James. No, but it's strange, isn't it? And one of the things I think people will struggle with sometimes is that when we talk about things, we can suddenly make things seem quite jovial. And I think that's something that you've got to be thankful for as a survivor, that you've been able to, that we are able to smile at things we shouldn't be able to smile at where we are concerned, because if we didn't, it'd just destroy us.
Well, you get a dark sense of humour, don't you?
Oh, do you? And it's I'm glad I've got you to bounce that off. Because it gets really,
on a sunny day.
yeah, it gets really bad though, doesn't it? It's one of the worst.
We couldn't post it even on this group. We could not post.
No, we couldn't.
What me and you talk, bounce off each other.
I mean, Frankie Boyle would probably go red at what we say. It'd be.
Only me and you will get that.
I know.
Yeah, the grooming aspect. As I said earlier in the video, you don't know you're in it till you're in it, do you?
No, and it carries on though, doesn't it? I don't know if yours did. Mine kept on carrying on, so it was like all the time.
And he used to turn up unexpectedly.
Yeah.
I'd be just walking down the street or working somewhere, and boom, he'd be there.
Yeah.
It'd be like he had some sort of bugging device on me. Wherever I went, he'd turn up.
Yeah, it's like I had a radar on me. That's how I would explain it. It was really, really strange. They would turn, and you just knew what were going to. I don't know how you felt, but I just kind of accepted what were going to happen. I used to get told to turn up 5 times a week, and it was like, yeah, all right. And you just end up, you're just doing what you can to get out of it, and it's like, will it ever end? How do I get out of there? And you don't, it's.
I used to look in the mirror and say today, I'm going to tell him. I'm going to tell him.
Oh, I tried so many times.
As soon as you see it, because a question I get asked a lot is, why didn't you batter him? I get that a lot. And you know why? You could be 50, you could be 60-year-old, you could be a huge guy. But as soon as that abuser comes in front of you, you revert back to that age. Yeah, you're a boy again.
Boy. Absolutely, you're that boy.
You can be 40, 50, 60-year-old, but you revert back to when it happened. So if it happened at 12, you turn into that 12-year-old, you turn into that 13-year-old, you turn into that 16-year-old.
Yeah, you do, mate. And it's so hard.
We'll kill up into a blow.
Let's just say, so someone's saying here, Rachel's saying, how do you let it go and just feel free of the hate? I forgive the perpetrator, but those that don't believe me, I truly hate. In my case, I'll never forgive mine. Never at all. Not for a second would I forgive him.
No.
I'd sooner, I don't know, I'd sooner have a Friday night weekly session of having rusty nails put through my eyeballs. You know what I mean? Oh, it's that time again. Yes, then forgive him. How do you get on with it? It's you move forward, Rach.
Back in a minute, John.
Why? Where are you going? Oh, I'm on my own. Thanks, Jim. Rach, the only.
My phone's running out of charge. This video's just zapping it.
You see, the thing is, it's as I'm sort of saying here, you don't move on, you move forward, and you move forward with it, Rach. You've got to. It's always there. It's never going to change. I can't wake up in the morning and suddenly it doesn't happen, or it hasn't happened. You just do the best that you can to try and accept it. If you can accept it, you can move forward with it. Johnny, you're absolutely right. It was a fear factor at the time. Yeah. Absolutely a fear factor at the time. I knew what sort of man my guy was. I mean, Jim's he had an MBE, for God's sake. I mean, this is what we're sort of talking about. This is the depths that it goes to. So Jim was Jim's guy. One of them was an MBE. My guy was an absolute nasty. I've known some evil blokes before, but he takes some beating what he did. and I've got to be careful what I say because there's other cases ongoing. So I'll be back in court at some point with other people. You've just got to be so careful because it's like what you were saying, it, Jim. You can't say anything because it could affect a case.
Yeah.
If it affects a case, you are potentially stopping somebody else getting justice, and that's why I've got to be careful. It's never acceptable when it happens at all, and it's never acceptable. It's just never acceptable, is it?
No, and there's no way on this earth I could ever forgive a perpetrator.
No, I couldn't.
No, we got asked that question the other day.
Yeah, we did, and this is a very pointed remark to the one individual who left a comment.
We won't say names. Why? We never say names.
No, not saying a name. Why are you so insistent on asking us if we will forgive a perpetrator? Both Jim and me are exceptionally concerned that you keep asking this question over and over again. So why are you asking it? Are you asking it because you've been through something, or are you asking it because you've done something?
Yeah.
It's not so much the way, it's not so much what's being asked, it's how it's being asked. And we've had this conversation.
Yeah.
And it's a strange one. I mean, and it could be, it's if somebody's going through something, you need to get support for it, because that individual is a fair age now and they may need the support that we've got. And, you sort of sense, don't you, when people are really hitting the brick wall? Could you do it, that brick wall, before you go right through it and you hit I hit heroin. Such a lovely drug that was. That was a real experience.
It's a strange question to ask.
Yeah, it is. You've been brave, mate, doing this. You have. You've been brave coming out and doing it. I know you've talked about, like, you didn't think you could do it, but you have. And I'm glad you didn't bring me in until you told.
It's opening doors that I've had shut for a long time, because I did 5 years of therapy. So I'm the best I'll ever be. And I'm probably the best I have been for a long, long time.
Do you find now you've said it, you realise it can't hurt you anymore? That's what I've discovered.
I never even thought of it. I've spoke about it. I haven't spoke about it for a long, long time, but I spoke about it when I was going through my therapy. I spoke about it that much. It just lost all meaning. It didn't take it away from the inside of my brain, because I still got the emotions, like with a flashback. When a flashback comes to the forefront of your mind, the emotions you've buried with that memory come as well.
Yeah,
so if you're angry, you're hurt, you feel like at death's door, they all come back with that memory. And that's why I'm such a big fan of EMDR, eye movement disassociation reprogramming, I think it is.
You've mentioned that quite a lot to me.
Yeah, and I use that. And it was invented by an American woman who, after a traumatic experience, realised that as she was walking through a wood, as she was reliving these experiences, as her eyes were darting from tree to tree, they were getting less and less traumatic. And that was a forerunner of EMDR. And what it does, it moves it. It reprograms your brain. The memories, I think, are here, and you need to process them from go here. And the EMDR of the movement of your eyes moves it from there to there. And because you're moving it from there to there, the emotions that are with it go from there to there.
I'm just reading what somebody's written now.
Went off. I went off. I've got the charger ain't bottom at phone. And I've had it balanced on a teddy.
You're very technologically good.
Winging it to a whole new level.
Rachel, what I would say to you is you've never mentioned any names, so you've got nothing to fear by talking about what's happened. What's happened is very personal to you, and it's your story to own. It's your truth. Just don't. It's very hard, as you've seen with Jim and me. It can be very, very hard, especially if you've got a gobshite mouth like mine, to keep things quiet. I don't mean to drop people in things at half of the time, but I just end up doing it because I get quite irate by things. But as this year's gone on, I think I've got better, haven't I?
Yeah, you've improved.
Thank you. Yeah, we're hearing you, Rich. Definitely.
What else?
No, I'll be going out with a video at about 6 o'clock where me and a close friend who will be joining the Leeds group, Dan Morehouse, we're going to be talking about the destructive effects of alcoholism. Something that I talk about, and I think people look at me like I'm stupid, is I am an alcoholic. I don't drink, and I haven't drunk in 13 years, and that's because I know what it does. And that's because I know that if I start again, it's just too much. I'm 42 years old. I can't be wasting any more of my life. It gets to that point. I don't know if it got to you with that point. So today we're going to go live with that. I just don't know whether to do it on here or whether to do it on EMPS. What do you think?
Could you share it from here to EMPS?
You probably could if you're watching it.
Because with the way that this video's worked by us two coming on, you could probably do the same with Dan.
Oh, hang on, there's a share button. Hang on. There's a share button. What does it do?
Share, usually.
Yeah, idiot. My name's Jim and I'm funny. Oh. EMP. No, it doesn't allow me to share it to a group.
Don't let.
No. So we could share it. Maybe when I say maybe you could do it maybe personally.
Yeah.
Oh, bless her, Rach.
Right, I'm off again.
13 years, Rach. It's not been easy. It really hasn't been. It's been the hardest thing I've ever done will give up drink. And it's been the hardest thing I ever did because I thought I could beat it. I thought I could manage it. I thought I could sustain being able to have a drink or two. And in the end I realised that I can't. So I just don't bother me. Like, I can still go out places with people. I just find it takes people 3 or 4 drinks to get onto my brainwave anyway. So it's kind of like, you know, the inner idiot is always there. So it's so I'm quite all right with that now. But it were hard at first, Rach. You've got to totally. I had to avoid pubs. I had to avoid restaurants. I had to avoid anywhere where there was alcohol, and it was that was the hardest battle that I ever overcome. But I'm glad I overcome it, and I'm glad I realised that I can't drink. Yeah, and I just wouldn't. I've thought about it, and I know I've told you I've thought about it recently as well, because you're social distancing in Tesco's and in Skits, and they have you queuing up down vodka aisle. It's helpful, is that? You know, you obviously, and you're just like going, oh my God, but then you've got to remember that they have to queue you somewhere. Do you know what I mean? They really would. So the options would either be the alcohol aisle or the fruit and veg aisle. And I can understand, if you put it into those terms, why they might not want you queuing up at the fruit and veg aisle. I kind of get it. You know, heaven forbid we sort of take a few shelves out and, you know, just sell a bit less stock for a bit and make it a lot easier all round. You know, that might help.
Won't help the profits, though.
No, that's the thing. But yeah, drink-wise, Rach, take it. If you can't cope, just take it sometimes, Rach. And the biggest tip I'll give to you is this. If you get it into your head that you need a drink, research something called the limbic system. The limbic system is something at a very subconscious level, which is telling you that you are going to die if you don't drink, take heroin, whatever that may be. So what I got learned of that is, if I'm getting that really sudden urge, and you'll know, Rach, what I'm talking about here, where you're feeling anxious, you're going to throw up, you're absolutely gagging. If you can just take an extra minute, that feeling goes away, because your limbic system suddenly realizing, this is how I perceive it to be, you're realizing that you're not actually dying. So bit by bit, you overcome that. But that's how I did it. When I learned about the limbic system, I sort of understood how it works. That I'm getting really bizarre subconscious messages that tells me I'm going to die. And yeah, really bizarre, but it helped. Not the dying bit, but understanding it.
Right, I'm going to sign off now anyway.
All right, then. Yeah, there's another. What's this button do? Would you like to be in Jimmy Vaughan's live video? Oh, people can request to join. Why can't we do this on EMPS?
Maybe because that's a page and this is a group.
Well, well, well. We need to figure out at some point if we can share to the group. That's what we need to do. I know there's an option.
There's a lot of things we need to figure out, and we're absolutely useless at all of it. Am I on my own now? Has he paused himself? Anybody still see me? Cheers, Johnny. Cheers, Sharon. Go and stop going live with John Bailey. I've kicked him anyway. So I'll sign out and I'll say thanks for watching. Stay safe. And I hope my teddy's not doing its job right. It's supposed to be holding my phone steady, is this teddy. It's not having it. So I'll speak to you all later. Stay safe and goodbye.